Alright everyone, welcome to a brand new week on Celtic AM or Celtic PM as we continue to be for one more week. One more week and then we'll be back to the early morning starts for you. Let's talk Celtic. Now I know it's a bit bleak weather-wise, that's if you're based in Scotland. Anywhere else in the world you've probably got lovely weather, even if it's not your summer. It certainly doesn't feel like summer in Scotland at the moment. Maybe that's why Celtic haven't signed any players yet, because they simply don't know the summer transfer window is open. Someone should probably remind them, because we still haven't signed a player. Our Wikipedia page for this season doesn't even have the wee in bit yet, which isn't great. Having said that, it's not time for panicking yet. Just a few wee dates for your diary. Today is the 1st of July, the greatest month of the year, by the way. We do have until August the 30th at 11:30 PM to sign players, so plenty of time. Our first competitive game of the season is just over a month away, August the 4th. So again, enough time to get players in for that first match. However, many people I think will be looking at the team going away to the States, United States, in probably just over a fortnight. And they'll be looking at that as a kind of big cut-off point for hopefully players to be signed and certainly a goalkeeper to be in by that stage. In terms of that, one name that I'm hearing more and more of over the past couple of days is Martin Dubravka, Newcastle United keeper. He's just been knocked out of Euro 2024 with Slovakia. He's their number one. It's he who was in nets for Jude Bellingham's pretty good late goal for England yesterday. And as I say, there's a bit more chat about him, and I don't know if it's just Celtic fans kind of trying to make excuses for the fact that we haven't signed a goalkeeper yet, and we've known Joe Hart was leaving the club for like 4 months at this stage. And maybe people are just looking at, oh, well, it must be a player from Euro 2024 that we're targeting, and that's the reason we've not signed someone. And now that Slovakia and Dubravka are out, maybe we're going to announce him in the coming days. Is it wishful thinking? Well, maybe, but Dubravka has already been linked with us this summer, and he now seems set to leave Newcastle United after they signed not one, but 2 goalkeepers over the past 24 hours. Greek goalkeeper, that's enough to send chills down any Celtic fan's body. But it's not that one, it's Odyssey's Vlachodimos has joined Newcastle, as has John Ruddy. They've obviously got Nick Pope there as well. I think Mark Gillespie is still on their books, Dubravka as well. So it seems very much like Dubravka is going to be leaving Newcastle United this summer. Seems a kind of near on certainty at this stage. And some people from some kind of prominent pages concerning Newcastle United appear to be hearing things about him potentially coming up to Celtic. Now take this, for example, from Mouth of the Tyne. They tweeted to say, the Ruddy deal surely means that Dubravka is now nailed on to move. A couple of days ago, the news I got was that he was likely signing for Celtic as soon as the Euros were over. Slovakia exited the competition last night, so perhaps this one is accelerating now. So is this the way things are heading? I guess we'll know more in the next 48 hours or so. We're still kind of waiting on that definitive report on a new goalkeeper. I've had so many names linked with us. Yeah, there you go. That's just some of the names that have been linked with us so far this summer. I know Peter Vindal Jensen's name came up yesterday in a report from the Daily Record about Matt O'Reilly. We'll come on to that, by the way. So there are still a few names being floated. I think it's important we don't get desperate as much as we want a goalkeeper in. It needs to be the right signing, but equally, as I say, the club have had a lot of time to get this right. Hopefully it is just a case of the club having Martin Dubravka at the top of their list and not being able to progress with any sort of deal while he's playing in the Euros, which would be fair enough. I kind of feel like that's maybe a little bit convenient. Of all the goalkeepers in Europe we could go for, it would be someone playing at Euro 2024, but I guess those are the best goalkeepers playing there, and at Celtic we want the best. So it's one to watch. We're still waiting on that definitive report coming out, as I say, so hopefully that arrives very soon. That's where we're at with signings in general. I kind of worry in lack of other stuff away from goalkeepers, other players being mentioned. As much as it seems like it at the moment, goalkeeper isn't the only position we need this summer. I won't even go through all the positions. We all kind of have a rough idea, I think, of where we need to strengthen. And we've still got time. We're not at panic stations yet. But come on, Celtic, give us a bit of optimism. Get some players in and get us really going for this new season. Yeah, just very briefly, because I really don't want to spend much time on this, but just a quick quote from Sead Haksabanovic with Swedish outlet Fotbollskanalen, explaining the comment he made about people having a different opinion to him. Remember, he put out that kind of lengthy, I'm not going to read all that out, but that was what he put out after he left the club to join Malmo last week. And in a kind of interview with Fotbollskanalen, he has basically said that it was about Brendan Rodgers having a different opinion. Haksabanovic saying, yes, mostly him, because the board wanted me to stay. They believed in me, but he had other plans. As I said earlier, more speculation about Matt O'Reilly potentially leaving the club. Last night from Scott Burns in the Daily Record, his report saying that Southampton are ready to make a £20 million bid for Matt O'Reilly. That would include add-ons said to be based on Southampton staying in the English Premier League, and they could take the deal beyond the £25 million that is currently the record. I think we got around that amount for both Kieran Tierney and then Jota a few years later. Southampton are now a Premier League club. They were promoted last season, managed by Russell Martin. He has worked with Matt O'Reilly in the past at MK Dons, so that's the obvious link there. I can't help but feel that a player of Matt O'Reilly's quality should probably be looking at a bigger club than Southampton, but I guess that's kind of the modern way of it. We lose our best players to much smaller clubs with much more money. It's nothing new really. But having said that, I think the general consensus seems to be that if Matt O'Reilly is going to move on this summer, it should be for a fee certainly close to £30 million. I don't think that's an unreasonable amount to be asking for when you look at the prices English teams are paying. And I've even paid over the past 48 hours for players who I would say aren't even at the quality of Matt O'Reilly. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'm just kind of clinging on to some sort of, again, it may be false optimism that we could hold on to O'Reilly for one more season. And I think the longer we go this summer without any news of him potentially going or any news of teams being interested or bidding, the more I'll kind of cling on to that hope of having O'Reilly for another season. I think it's probably unlikely. I'm guessing after 2.5 years at the club, he'll feel it's his time to move on, and if the big offer comes in, the club will no doubt accept it. But it has to be a big offer if we're going to lose probably our best player, most talented player. I don't think our most important player, which I think is a kind of interesting thing to remember, that as much as Matt O'Reilly is probably the most talented and kind of most highly rated and most valuable player we have in terms of transfer fee, there are players that I'd be more worried about losing. Callum McGregor, Cameron Carter-Vickers, potentially Kyogo as well. And I think we could, as much as I want to keep Matt O'Reilly, if the big bid comes in, the club will probably have to accept it. But we're talking close to £30 million. I certainly would hope that it be to a bigger club than Southampton, but I guess that's up to Matt O'Reilly. Big night tonight for Cameron Carter-Vickers and the US national team. They face Uruguay in Copa America and probably need at least a draw to get through to the next round, which is the quarterfinals. However, I believe they can do it even if they lose. Basically, Uruguay are top with 6 points. You've then got the US with 3 points. You've got, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, you get Panama with 3 points, and I believe Bolivia are pointless at the moment. Bolivia play Panama. So basically, US have to kind of match Panama's result. Canada are already through to the last 8. Alistair Johnson, they got through the other night, and they've got Venezuela in the last 8, which on the face of it would seem like a pretty decent draw and a chance to get through to the semi-finals. Venezuela have actually won all 3 of their matches so far though, and topped a group that had, I think, Mexico, Ecuador as well. So yeah, Alistair Johnson into the quarters. Cameron Carter-Vickers hopefully going to join him tonight, as much as he doesn't feature for his country as much as Johnson. Yeah, not quite sure when those two will be joining back up with the team. It may make more sense for them just to stay put in America and wait on their teammates joining them for those 3 matches we've got out there later this month. Our other international players are chilling, some of them on holiday. James Forrest certainly seems to be. In fact, he bumped into Adam Ida, this image shared by Adam Ida over the weekend. Will those two be teammates again this coming season? We're back on this Friday against Ayr United at Somerset Park. A bit different to previous seasons when we kind of head over to Austria, and it was Portugal last year, and we play those opening matches, and you can only really see them on Celtic TV. This Friday, I think there'll be thousands of Celtic fans in attendance at Somerset Park. I'll be there, my one and only Celtic match this season, unless they come to Australia on a kind of mid-season tour. But looking forward to it, and it's going to be a chance, I think, to see some fringe players. I don't think we'll see many, if any, of our international contingent. I think it's going to be fringe players, but an opportunity maybe to see the likes of Bosun Lawal, Huku Kwon. Who else really excites me? I'm sure there'll be some. I'll have a think and get back to you tomorrow.